But let me tell you about your next group of panelists as they come up. Mr. Philippe Zadi, you have this advantage. My husband has met him. He said he is a big dog in the real estate area. Let me make that a little more formal. Founder and chairman of the Board of Growth Holdings. He will talk about bringing world-renowned brands specialized in solar energy and triggering their interest in Lebanon to make it the hub for tech support for solar in the region. Also, Mr. Marwan Azi, if you have a program, you know it's all in your program. An international partner of Norton Rose Fulbright International LLP, welcome. And your moderator for this panel, from the Lebanese Center for Energy Conservation, he is the head of the Center for Energy Conservation, the moderator, Mr. Pierre El-Houri.
Yes, thank you.
Gentlemen, yes.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. And welcome to this second part of the session on energy. I would kindly ask His Excellency Minister Abi Khalil to join us on the floor for a last comment at the end of this session. Practically, this session will be dedicated to the development of sustainable energy in Lebanon with focus on the three sub-sectors of renewable energy, energy efficiency, and the green buildings. And we have two distinguished speakers with us, Mr. Philippe Ziedi and Mr. Marwan Azi. And probably the best starting point for this session would be what Minister Abi Khalil has presented during his intervention by saying that sustainable energy is a booming sector in Lebanon, and there's a reason for that. And let us give you a very, very short overview on how things were progressing in Lebanon in this regard. Back in 2009, the Lebanese government committed itself to have renewable energy reach 12% of the total energy demand by 2020. And in 2010, the Ministry of Energy and Water, then under the leadership of His Excellency Minister Basil, has set the strategic steps and the national initiatives to reach this objective. Today, we are at a booming sector. And this sector has created more than 10,000 jobs, thanks to the Central Bank of Lebanon. We have more than $600 million of investments back for the next 5 years. And today, the future seems promising. 3 days ago, at the International Beirut Energy Forum, in his opening speech, Minister Abi Khalil said, "We are confident that Lebanon will reach its 2020 objectives." And he added, now is the time to start planning our 2030 objectives. So what could be the role of the Lebanese diaspora in all this? How could successful Lebanese businessmen, energypreneurs, entrepreneurs could have an added value in setting our plans for the future and implementing these plans? How could investors, Lebanese investors from all parts of the world, how could we attract giants like probably Tesla, Google, or other giants from other parts of the world to come to Lebanon? This is what we need to discuss in this 20-minute discussion with our distinguished speakers. And I would like His Excellency Minister Abi Khalil to give us the final closing note at the end. Let me first introduce to you Mr. Philippe Ziedi, founder and chairman of the Board of Growth Holdings. He is recognized as a leader in his industry, gaining recognition in residential real estate, multifamily projects, custom homes developments, commercial projects, senior assisted living projects, and gaming resort hotels. Definitely we're in Vegas, so it's only normal. Graduated with dual degrees in civil and mechanical engineering and recognized internationally as a brilliant businessman and entrepreneur. He has a singular vision to balance both the art and science of business. He is known for having founded Appleton Properties, InCloud Software, Unibuilder Software, Gross Construction, Progressive Construction, and Gross Luxury Homes. These companies are dynamic, multi-million-dollar companies in the real estate, technology, construction, hospitality, and entertainment sectors, and why not energy sectors. Mr. Ziedi has also developed proprietary management software for his operation in real estate and construction. His software is recognized by industry professionals as innovative and cutting edge in the industry. So my question, Philippe, with all these successes and being a successful businessman, how could you support Lebanon in moving forward in the sustainable energy sector?
The idea is how do we bring Lebanon to the attention of the international players? Okay, how can we? I believe we have a window of opportunity for 1 or 2 years now to put Lebanon on the map. What's going on in the region? The idea is to sell Lebanon as the talent of the Middle East. We have the talent. The message should be, you will not be able to go through Syria, the construction of Syria, Iraq, or even Libya without the Lebanese talent. We are the portal of the Middle East. We are the gateway of the Middle East with our talent. And this is the message that we're trying to send to these international players.
Thank you. Philippe, one more question. The sustainable energy sector is booming in Lebanon, and it could be a nice opportunity during these times to attract, as mentioned, giant corporations like Tesla, and we're not far away from Tesla, I think they are nearby here, or other big players. Could these international companies be interested in a market like Lebanon?
Of course, they are, we made them they are interested right now. These big companies, you know, the renewable energy is a new sector, is a fairly new sector. And we see the potential of the future in the region. The big companies, specifically Tesla, they have no tech support in the region yet. So this is where we sold the idea that Lebanon is the place for you to be. We have the talent, we have the know-how, we have a lot of initiatives by the Ministry of Energy, by the government in general. We have new programs that's helping all of that. So what we want is we want to take these initiatives to the next level. So we are ready for these big companies. It's not about just having a project that's going to make money. It's also having the infrastructure and the tech support for these companies to feel comfortable to come to Lebanon and even to the region. So we want Lebanon to be the place for them, to be the tech support for them to do that. And that's where our investment today is really in developing that tech support. Not only looking at projects and renewable energy projects that's going to generate profits. You know, the market in Lebanon is still small compared to other places, but we really are concentrating on investing in the Lebanese talent so we can put Lebanon on the map of becoming the tech support for these big players.
Thank you. Talking about infrastructure, probably one major or main game changer or good startup is the legal framework and the institutional setup. And this is what we'd like to discuss with Mr. Marwan Azzi. Mr. Azzi is an international partner of Norton Rose Fulbright International LLP, New York. His practice focuses on domestic and cross-border corporate transactions with emphasis in emerging markets. His experience includes representing US and international corporate clients and investment funds in mergers and acquisitions, private equity investments, joint ventures, strategic alliances, and financing transactions. Mr. Azzi is very active in energy-related matters around the world and has an extensive experience in transactions pertaining to this industry. His experience in corporate M&A and securities, merger and acquisitions, private equity, projects, and project finance. Mr. Azzi, based on your international experience and based on the exposure to the development of sustainable energy in different parts of the world, how would you compare the Lebanese situation to the international standards?
Yeah, this is a very good question. And basically, I help investors, infrastructure fund, or developer of power project investing in renewable project, greenfield project, or buying existing project. When I was a junior lawyer, I was in Dubai, and it was around 2010 when I decided to take some partners at my firm who were focusing a lot on the renewable energy sector in the GCC, to go to Lebanon and to meet with the Ministry of Energy there. I think at that point, Minister Bassil has just been appointed, and we met with the team, and at that time, the PPP loan was just a draft. They were thinking about it. I'm very happy to see now that there is a law, there is a public-private partnership law that will help investors that I work with across the world to consider coming to Lebanon and investing in Lebanon. So the basic legal framework, they worked on it, and the government have made efforts to basically set the general legal framework. Where we are now, I think, in this stage, is working with the Ministry of Energy, with your organization, Pierre, to basically get to a point where a first IPP is implemented and is financed by multinational international institution. We have, and I think some of the slides, and probably, Minister, you mentioned that the BDL is willing to invest in Lebanon, and they've already invested $500 million. And probably the program that the government is talking about will cost around $400 million, the 300 megawatt and the solar projects. But I think it's going to be very helpful if some efforts are made to attract foreign investments from the likes of IFC, the European development banks, other expert agency, to set a precedent of an IPP in Lebanon that has been financed and bankable. And I know, because my firm is working on one of those projects, that you are making an effort to get there. Why this is helpful? This is helpful because it will allow not only using local funding, but also setting a high bar and letting the investors, our diaspora, who will get comfort that multilateral agencies and international financial institutions are lending to Lebanon. And they're gonna invest their money. Entrepreneur like Philippe and other people that are very successful across the world, they can, when they see that the lenders went there and they are comfortable with the PPA and they are lending to Lebanon, they're gonna come and they're gonna invest in those projects. And I just want to add one thing. Renewable energy is a sector that my firm has basically been working on for a long time. The sector and the technologies are really got to a point where there is no question anymore that you're going to have renewable energy as part of your portfolio mix. I know in Lebanon we're focusing about other kind of generation facilities, but we're going to get to a point, and it's a very aggressive target of 12% that the minister set. But you will have an entrepreneur and investors more in this sector. So the moment we set an IPP model that has been tested, that has been worked, and when you see that this collaboration between the public sector, the government, the ministry, and the entrepreneurs and the solar developers in Lebanon or across the world is working, this is going to create much more jobs, and it's going to bring much more investments to our country.
Thank you. Again, like you've mentioned, Lebanon is currently in the process to have 200 megawatts of wind farms, hopefully in the northern part of the country. We have a new bid for 180 megawatts of solar farms, a promising 400 megawatts of hydroelectricity projects are envisaged, and all these should be done and will be done hopefully in partnership with the private sector. And again, as you have mentioned, the Central Bank of Lebanon has done a great job, and we do know that Dr. Anderi is a strong supporter of the NIRIA mechanism supporting these issues. But one main concern, although liquidity is available in Lebanon, but one main concern and one smart move would be to attract international funding in order to mix and blend the financing of these projects. So my question to you, again, as a Lebanese expat, what could be your added value in this regard?
Look, I think me and other people working in the industry, George mentioned that before, we're involved in somehow or in some fashion. For instance, my firm is representing the IFC, but other people will be representing the Lebanese government, for instance. And our expertise developing on working in projects will be attracted to Lebanon, and we want to help. We will basically talk to our investors, our clients, and we're going to tell them about the Lebanese sector. Well, look, the resources, the wind resources and the solar resources and the studies, and I'm sure you know that, it's there. There is very strong resources. Lebanese talents. I know about probably 3 or 4 Lebanese companies. Naamat Frame was here, the Indefco. They are building a solar plant in Egypt. Other families and other companies in Lebanon have already financed wind farms in Africa. So we have the knowledge. We have a government that is supportive. We have the framework. We have liquidity from the central bank and the local banks. We need to just focus and put a team, I think, together to get all this to a point where we have a team advising the government to how to take all those positive points and finance the first IPP. Once you've done that, you've opened a sector, I guess, to a lot of folks investing in that. And by the way, for the Lebanese diaspora, it's very easy to invest in renewable energy. We all have, most of the Lebanese are basically educated to build projects. And this is what it is. It's a series of contracts that you put together. And the main one is the power purchase agreement that the government will sign with you if you have decent credentials. And you can put the credentials together by partnering up with a company who has done it before. And that's it. You have what we call your developer company. Once you have this power purchase agreement, if it's well drafted and bankable, you're just gonna take it to any bank and tell them, please give me $100 million. I have a PPA. The government is gonna buy from me electricity for 20 years. And you have a project.
Thank you, thank you. Philippe, if I can come back to you regarding Lebanon being a gateway to the Middle East or to the Arab world. We know that there's a new initiative, including RENAC, the internationally acknowledged institution from Germany. Can you tell us more about this initiative and what could be the added value for Lebanon?
Yeah, we reached an agreement with RENAC, Renewable Energy Academy, which is equivalent to Harvard Business School, an agreement with RENAC to come to Lebanon in partnership with the University of UZEK to start. And we're trying to build the framework of the country where we can develop local skills and also encourage local professionals to stay in the country first and to have the skills and the means, okay, to develop their businesses, not only for the local market, but also for the region. As I believe we need some accreditation in Lebanon at that level, and that's gonna attract other companies. We're also in agreement with Tesla to be part of that lab. We donated that lab under the Invest to Stay program that we launched in the LDE in 2014. We're gonna fund the lab in the university. They're coming. Tesla is agreed to be part of putting their technology for our professionals in Lebanon to be more familiar and to become, like I said earlier, the tech support of this industry in the Middle East.
Very interesting. If I want to go more into some technical details regarding technologies, we do have in Lebanon, the solar water heater market is evolving. This so decentralized or rooftop applications for solar photovoltaic is evolving. Wind farms, this is a new trend, and hydropower. From your perspective, what is the new potential for new technologies? Are we talking about hydrogen-based technologies? Are we talking about storage? Storage is a very booming subject for discussion worldwide. From your perspective as an entrepreneur, where do you think is the next decade? Where is the next decade taking us in terms of sustainable energy?
Sustainable energy for me is the future. It's not only because it's good for Mother Earth, it's because you never run out of energy. So, and this is the future. Even you look into the cars, now they're going into storage for residential. This is the future. And that's why we are investing in the infrastructure and tech support, because we want to be ready. We want to be one step ahead in the region from anybody else to be ready for any kind of advancement in all these fields of technology. RENAC has many programs to cover all of these industries, and we want to be ready. We have the talent. We have a wealth of talent in Lebanon as an entry level. By bringing these big companies back to Lebanon, okay, we're gonna bring our advanced, high-level talent in the diaspora that left Lebanon, but it's very hard for them to come back because there is no jobs at that level. By bringing back companies like Tesla, Google, at that level, so now we're really opening the door for this advanced talent to come. And meantime, we're going to develop the skills through the academy to be ready for any kind of technology in the future.
Very interesting. Marwan, if I can come back to the issue of having a public-private partnership regarding renewable energy projects. You mentioned working with IFC, the International Finance Corporation, which is part of the World Bank Group. Do you think big institutions like IFC are interested to work in Lebanon? And what could be a positive message that the Lebanese government or Lebanon could send in order to attract these institutions even more?
Well, they're definitely interested, and you know they are engaging you and they are talking to you to finance some of the projects. So, and they are interested for many reasons. For policy reasons, because that's what they do. They want to promote renewable energy across the world. They've done it in the Middle East. They've invested in Jordan. They invested in Dubai. They've invested in Egypt. They are lending for this project. Lebanon, as I mentioned, I think made a big step by enacting the PPP law and by engaging with them. Again, I may be repeating myself, but the point with them, they like to work. Project finance is basically a science that has been a legal science, if you want, that has been developed across the years, and there are certain standard documents and certain risks that are allocated among various parties in a development of a power project. If you respect that, you will find them next to you, and you will find them investing for your projects in Lebanon. They will not gonna take governmental risk. They will not gonna take force majeure risk. They will not gonna take that having a war risk in Lebanon. But this is something that the government will be able to take by basically keep paying for the generation of those projects. And once the lenders got this balance, once you allocate those risks among the power developer, among the government, and among the lender group, you will basically be able to get a successful financial close to your projects and get the money and attract. And once the IFC, the Europeans are also very interested, EBRD, EIB, Proparco, all the multilateral agencies, the Danish, even the Japanese ones, probably JPIC has basically loaned money to a lot of projects in the GCC. So this money is available. And it's for us and for our entrepreneur to engage them and to talk to our government and to get them to a point where they are comfortable investing in Lebanon.
Thank you. Philippe, one last question for you. You mentioned the human capital working on the Lebanese at the entry level in order to train them, in order to prepare them to hit the regional market. My question regarding, or based on your experience in the States and based on your network, do you think that Lebanese businesses and investors are ready to invest in Lebanon? Is Lebanon sending a positive signal to attract Lebanese investors to the renewable energy market in the country?
Yes, I like to be positive, and I'm going to say yes. Us being on the panel here by itself is a message. The LDE itself is a message. It's creating a hope for Lebanon. And in the diaspora by itself, there's three categories, okay? For me, I think there's three categories. Category one, that diaspora that left Lebanon, bad experience, they're not thinking of Lebanon. They're not concerned at this time in Lebanon. Category two are the diaspora that are willing to invest in Lebanon, but they cannot find the right project for them. They don't believe in Lebanon yet. They talk about, they heard the corruption all along, they know what's going on there, but they're willing to invest, they don't have the right project for them. And then the third category is, what I'm in that category is, you have to pave the way, create the project, and then invest in the project, okay? And once you do that, and if you create the project at the level that we're talking about, you're gonna attract category two to invest in you. And once you prove success, then you might trigger category three to be interested in investing in Lebanon. And the government, the ministry, everybody is putting all the efforts, and we believe in it. We love Lebanon. You have to love what you're doing. Every successful person knows that there is a lot of bumps, there's a lot of challenges. If you don't love what you're doing, you cannot make it. Okay, we have to love what we're doing. We have to believe in what we're doing because it's not easy. We know it's not easy. We know all the challenges, but we're committed.
Great. Thanks. Again, it's a big message of hope. Before closing this session, I would like to have the comment of His Excellency Minister Abi Khalil.
Well, first, because Pierre will not do it, I want to commend the work that the Lebanese Center for Energy Conservation is doing on renewable energies and energy efficiency. I would like to add that the market for the PVs is growing by 3 digits every year, and this is really thanks to the dedication of people like Pierre and his team who has worked day and night in that sector to achieve what has been done and to create all those opportunities to the Lebanese in Lebanon and to the diaspora to invest in such a booming sector. I would like also to say that the legal framework is there. The first implementation of Law 288, which enables the private sector to invest in energy, in electricity generation, is being applied through the tender and through the last Council of Ministers resolution regarding the wind turbines, the wind farms. So this is the first IPP will be renewable energy IPP. So this is also thanks to the hard work that has been done at the LCEC, and also thanks to the financing, because also the governor told me a few days ago at the Beirut Energy Forum that there will be enough financing for subsidized financing to cover the construction of those wind farms, and this will be extended to the photovoltaic farms also. So I think the gentleman here has covered the subject. I will just to say that great opportunities in the sector lie ahead. The subsidized financing is there. All the studies have been made. We have a wind atlas. We know very well where it is feasible. We have also a solar atlas also that shows where we can harvest the power of sun. We can maximize this harnessing of this power, and where it is close to the grids and where it is not. And this is an ongoing tender also. It presents great opportunities. The hydropower will follow. There are already some financing that has been committed by Proparco and others in this field. So we look forward to having the diaspora participating to this national endeavor. And we reckon it will be our future of energy. It is true, as you have said, we have been focused on other kinds of generation, but that was to cover our base load. As I have said in the first panel, we have had long decades of no investment in the field of generation that has left us with a lack of power. This electricity problem that we had suffered for the last 30 years. So I would say the future is looking great. It would be better if you would be participating with us to this national endeavor. And thank you, Pierre, for this.
Thank you, Your Excellency. as a closing note, the magic keyword, it's a booming sector. And it's thanks to people like Mr. Philippe Ziedi, Mr. Marwan Azzi, entrepreneurs or even energypreneurs who pave the way. And paving the way would open new channels of communication, of business, of cooperation between Lebanese people living in Lebanon and the Lebanese diaspora. And we are all proud of the Lebanese diaspora. And hopefully we can all together do a positive impact on our environment and on the national economy. Thank you very much for attending this session. Thank you.